All right, so everyone's talking about it, GPT 4.5. It's finally here.
Yeah, it's not just hype this time either. The advancements are actually really impressive, especially if you're like me and really into what AI can do in the real world.
Right, exactly. We've been covering GPT for a while now, and even I was kind of blown away by some of OpenAI's claims.
I know. It's so interesting how they're calling it this huge leap forward, but then they're also being all mysterious about it. Like that quote from Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, where he says GPT 4.5 has this magic he hasn't seen before.
Ooh, yeah, that definitely got my attention. It seems like there's a lot more to it than just, some small improvements.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What exactly is so new and different with GPT 4.5 that's making everyone so excited?
Well, one of the biggest things is they've reduced the hallucinations. You know how earlier versions would sometimes just like make stuff up?
Oh, yeah.
Well, OpenAI says they've made some serious progress on that.
That's a big deal. I mean, it's hard to trust an AI that's, making things up,
Yeah.
especially if you're using it for important work.
Exactly. And it really makes you wonder how they did it. Like, did they change the whole architecture or just, tweak the training data?
Hmm. I'm guessing it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But let's move on to something else that stood out to me, the emotional intelligence. So they're saying GPT 4.5 is better at understanding tone and adapting its responses.
hmm
Do you think that's real, or is it mostly just marketing?
I think there's some real substance to it. We've seen hints of this in past models, but GPT 4.5 seems to take it to a whole new level, almost like it's developing a very basic sense of empathy.
Okay, now that's when things start getting interesting. It's one thing to have an AI that can write code or poems, but if it can understand and respond to human emotions, that opens up so many possibilities.
Absolutely. Imagine talking to an AI that not only gets what you're saying, but also how you're feeling and can change how it responds. It could completely revolutionize fields like customer service education, even therapy.
It's pretty mind-blowing. It's like we're right on the edge of this whole new way for humans and machines to interact, where AI isn't just a tool, but like a real collaborator.
Yeah. Totally. And that connects back to that magic Allman was talking about. That feeling that we're seeing something totally transformative, something that really blurs the lines between human and artificial intelligence.
Okay, so let's get a little more practical. The article also said GPT 4.5 is just better across the board, writing, coding, problem solving. What's the impact of those advancements?
Well, I think in the big picture, it means more efficient work, maybe faster innovation, and even new possibilities we haven't even thought of yet. It's like everyone gets a superpowered assistant.
I can already see the headlines, GPT 4.5, the AI that will take your job. But seriously, how do you think this will impact the workforce?
It's a big question. Some experts say AI will just help us do more, letting us focus on the big stuff while AI does the boring parts.
Huh.
Others are worried about jobs disappearing and the economy being disrupted.
It's a complicated issue for sure. No easy answers there. But let's be real. If GPT 4.5 is as good as they say, can we all start using it right now?
Well, not quite. Access is still pretty limited. They're rolling it out slowly, starting with ChatGPT Pro subscribers and developers.
Ah, so the lucky few get to play first. When do we think the rest of us will get a chance to try it out?
They haven't given us a date yet. And there's also the cost. GPT 4.5 is really expensive to run, which is why they're taking it slow.
That makes sense. You can't just release something this powerful without being sure it can handle it.
Yeah. And speaking of handling it, the article mentioned that Microsoft is already putting GPT 4.5 into its Azure AI Foundry, so it's moving from research to the real world really fast.
Wow, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It means GPT 4.5 isn't just some theoretical thing. It's going to have a major impact on businesses and industries all over the world.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, so we've talked about what's new with GPT 4.5, but what about the how? The article keeps mentioning pre-training scale.
Hmm?
What exactly is that, and why is it so important for this model?
Well, that's where the really technical stuff comes in. Pre-training scale basically means how much data they use to train GPT 4.5. It's like, feeding a brain a whole library, but on a much, much larger scale.
So the more data it learns from, the smarter it gets. Is that the gist?
It's a little more complicated than that. It's not just about quantity, it's about quality too.
Hmm.
OpenAI hasn't really told us how they did it, but I'm sure they used a massive data set that they carefully chose to make GPT 4.5 as good as it is. You have to think about it. This model needs to be able to handle code creative writing, factual analysis. That's a lot.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want to train an AI on cat memes and then expect it to write a legal brief.
Right.
Although now I kind of want to hear what a cat meme trained AI would sound like.
Haha. Maybe we can do a deep dive on that sometime. But yeah, for GPT 4.5, this pre-training scale is a big reason why it's so much better. It's helped the model understand language concepts and relationships so much deeper.
So it's not just repeating information, it's actually like putting it all together, making connections, almost like a human brain would.
Exactly. And that's how we start to see real intelligence. It's not just about patterns anymore. It's about context, nuance, and even intent.
Okay, let's talk about the big question access. We know that GPT 4.5 is limited right now. The article hinted that it's partly because of the cost. How expensive are we talking?
Oh, it's not cheap. Remember, this model needs a huge amount of computing power, and that means a lot of energy and a big bill for OpenAI. It's like they're building a virtual supercomputer just for GPT 4.5.
Wow, so it's a practical thing then, not just about creating hype.
Right, they have to take it slow, make sure everything's working properly. It's kind of like launching a rocket. You can't just go full speed right away.
Okay, let's change gears for a minute. The article mentioned GPT 4.5's multimodal capabilities, meaning it can work with both text and images. What's the big deal about that, and how does it fit into the bigger picture of AI?
Well, this is where we see different types of AI starting to combine. Before we had models that were good with text and others that were good with images, GPT 4.5 is trying to do both,
Yeah.
to create an AI that's more well-rounded
Hmm.
and can understand the world kind of like a human does.
So it's not just about writing or translating anymore. It's about understanding the world both visually and through language.
Exactly. Imagine an AI that can read a news article and look at the pictures too, and then understand the whole thing and get more insights. Or an AI that can write a story based on a bunch of pictures, combining words and visuals in a seamless way.
That's pretty credible. It's like we're getting closer to the kind of general purpose AI we see in sci-fi movies.
It definitely feels that way, and even though multimodal AI is still new, the possibilities are amazing. Really mind-blowing.
Let's bring it back to reality for a second. The article also mentioned that Microsoft is putting GPT 4.5 into its Azure platform. What does that mean for businesses and developers? How could it change the tech world?
This is huge for GPT 4.5. By adding it to Azure, Microsoft is making this powerful AI available to tons of businesses and developers. Think about it. Companies could start using GPT 4.5 to build all sorts of new applications and services. We could see a wave of innovation across every industry.
So it's not just a fun toy for tech people. It could really change how businesses work.
Absolutely. We might see GPT 4.5 being used in everything from customer service chatbots to really advanced data analysis tools. And for developers, it's like getting a superpower. They can create things that were impossible before.
It really sounds like we're at the start of an AI revolution,
Mhm.
and GPT 4.5 is leading the way. But with all this talk about super intelligent AI, are there any risks we should be thinking about?
Yeah, that's a really important question. The benefits of AI are huge, but we need to be careful too. One worry is that it could be used for bad things. As AI gets smarter, we need to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not just about building powerful AI, it's about using it for good.
Exactly. We need to have open conversations about the ethics of AI and create rules and guidelines to make sure it benefits everyone.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get excited about new technology,
Yeah.
but we can't forget about the consequences.
I agree. And it's a conversation everyone needs to be a part of, not just the tech experts. The future of AI is going to affect all of us. So we all need to have a say in how it develops.
That's a great point. It seems like we've covered so much today, from the technical details of GPT 4.5 to the big questions about AI and society. But there's one question that keeps coming back to me. Is GPT 4.5 really a giant leap forward? Or is it just another step on the long road to artificial general intelligence?
That's the big question, isn't it? GPT 4.5 is a huge accomplishment, no doubt. But we have to remember that AI is still pretty young. Artificial general intelligence, the kind of AI that can think and reason like a human, is still a long way off.
So GPT 4.5 is a stepping stone, but not the end goal.
Exactly. But it's brought us closer than ever before. And as we keep pushing the limits of AI, who knows what amazing breakthroughs are waiting for us?
That's both exciting and a little scary, but I guess that's what exploring the unknown is all about. There's always a sense of wonder and a little bit of fear.
I totally agree. And it's that sense of wonder that keeps us going, that keeps us exploring new technology and figuring out how it can change our world.
Well said. It seems like we've talked about a lot today, from the technical stuff about GPT 4.5 to the bigger questions about AI and what it means for us. But there's one more question I just have to ask. It's been bugging me since we started this whole deep dive. With all these advancements, with GPT 4.5 blurring the line between human and machine, what does it even mean to be intelligent anymore? Is it about processing speed or memory, or is it something more, something we can't quite define with algorithms and data?
That's a deep question, and it's one that philosophers have been trying to answer for a long time. As AI gets better, it's making us rethink what intelligence really is. Is it about solving problems or making art or feeling empathy, or is it something even more basic, something at the heart of who we are? Maybe true intelligence isn't about being better than machines. Maybe it's about understanding ourselves and where we fit in the universe.
Wow, that's a really beautiful way to put it. It's like learning about AI is also helping us learn about ourselves.
Yeah, I think so. And as AI keeps developing, it'll keep challenging our ideas, pushing us to our limits, and ultimately helping us understand what it means to be human.
Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about. The future of AI is exciting and uncertain. But one thing's for sure, we're all in this together. And as we keep exploring this amazing technology, we need to do it responsibly with curiosity and with a deep respect for the human mind. It's interesting, right? We're talking about this crazy advanced tech, but the article keeps coming back to something so basic. Good data.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like AI is like this gourmet chef, you know? They can have the best kitchen, all the fancy tools, but if the ingredients are bad, the food will be bad too.
I love that analogy. So when they talk about all this pre-training scale for GPT 4.5, are they really just saying we gave it a ton of really good info?
It's got to be more than just the amount, though, right? It's like if you gave that chef like 1,000,000 pounds of potatoes, they can make some dishes, but it wouldn't be anything special. The data for GPT 4.5 has to be super diverse and carefully chosen to get these amazing results.
And that makes me think about the whole hallucination thing. If the data is messed up or incomplete, wouldn't that make the model less accurate?
Definitely. It's like trying to learn a language from kids' books. You wouldn't know very much grammar or vocabulary. The data for GPT 4.5 has to be really broad and reflect the real world. Otherwise, it'll make mistakes or, even worse, learn harmful biases.
It's like this pre-training phase is where the AI develops its personality in a way.
That's a cool way to think about it, and it shows how important the data scientists and AI researchers are. They're not just coding, they're basically choosing what the AI will be built from.
All right, so let's talk about something that's been on my mind. OpenAI's CEO said GPT 4.5 is a giant, expensive model. I get that it takes a lot of power to run this thing, but why is it so expensive to make and train these models?
Well, it's like building a skyscraper, right? You need architects, engineers, construction workers, special materials. It's a huge project. And developing GPT 4.5 is kind of the same. It takes a big team of experts, data scientists, linguists, software engineers. They all have to work together to design, train, and improve this super complicated system.
And I guess the materials in this case are the data,
Right.
which isn't free either.
Right. Getting all that data and making sure it's good quality can be really expensive. And then there's the cost of actually training the model. Think about all the energy it takes to power those servers that are running 24/7.
It's crazy to think about all the resources involved. It makes you wonder, is it even sustainable? Can we keep making bigger and better AIs without, going broke or using up all the world's energy?
That's a big question in the AI world right now. People are starting to realize how AI development affects the environment. And researchers are trying to find ways to make these models more efficient and less harmful.
I hope they can figure it out.
Mm,
Because it'd be really sad if AI ended up hurting the real intelligence we already have on Earth.
totally.
Hmm.
But this whole conversation makes me think about something we talked about earlier, the philosophical side of AI. As we create these super smart models, we have to ask ourselves some big questions about what it means to be intelligent or conscious or even what the meaning of life is.
It's true. At
Wow.
first, I was all excited about GPT 4.5's new features,
Mm.
the accuracy, the emotional intelligence. But now I'm thinking about the bigger picture. If we can build machines that think and learn like us, what does that make us? What makes humans special?
Yeah, those are the questions that keep me up at night. And I don't think there are easy answers. But maybe that's the point. Maybe AI is like a mirror. It shows us ourselves, our good parts, our bad parts, our deepest fears and hopes.
That's such a good way to think about it. It's like AI is a journey to figure out who we are, not just for the machines, but for us too.
Exactly. And it's only just begun. Who knows what amazing discoveries and challenges are out there?
Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything about GPT 4.5, at least for now. But this conversation's definitely given me more questions than answers.
That's what a good deep dive should do, right? It makes you curious, makes you question things, and leaves you wanting to learn more.
You got that right. And for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, never stop learning. The world of AI is huge and always changing. There's always something new to find out. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive, and until next time, stay curious.